Hey there, everybody. Welcome to our reaction to the Yellowstone Season 3 premiere. We've made it back to the ranch. There's a lot going on, but is there that big event in this episode? I mean, is there that like jaw-dropping surprise? I feel like this episode was kind of more, all right, let's sort of get out the big table, let's put everything on it, but we're actually going to make you wait a while to get the meal.
Yeah, there was nothing that was like, oh no, what's happening in this episode? But there was a couple things that definitely made me kind of be like, this is setting up for something that could be really ugly down the road.
I think we're getting set up for something awesome. Like, I feel really confident in that. I like a lot of the players involved. I like the setup for things, but it's sort of like, okay, we know we got a long summer ahead of us. We're not going to give you the goods now, but
we don't need to rush.
We don't need to rush here. You know, we can take the 5 miles to walk onto the stream.
That's right.
Before we go any further, if you guys do like this video, give us a like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. That is the best way to make sure you don't miss any other updates.
So the big meat of this episode for me is all about John handing down livestock commissioner to Jamie? Question mark? What? Now listen, I understand that he has such a good relationship with Beth that if Beth is saying, listen, we can't trust Jamie as far as we can throw him, but the one thing we do know about Jamie is out for Jamie, and Jamie needs to have sort of public approval, and his peers all need to love what he's doing and that sort of feel. We've seen that. He's very influenced by what people think of him. So here we are in this situation. Beth is thinking, okay, if he needs that approval, if he is livestock commissioner, he's going to want all of the approval of all the ranchers around here, and that includes us. So we should be okay. However, then we have this scene at the bunkhouse that kind of feels like it's a nothing scene, but it's really telling. We see Jamie is lying on the bunk. All the guys are acting ridiculous and playing some bizarre roping game at 3 a.m. They're all drinking a couple beers. Jamie, do you want to jump in on this? Nah, I'm good. Come on, Jamie, let's do this, Jamie. All right. And then he's doing it the most crazy way possible, drinking down the whiskey, twirling around, even though he didn't want to do it. That idea that Jamie is doing that tells me that he has learned nothing yet. He hasn't actually grown out of that yet. He is still looking for the approval of everybody around him. I think this is going to end up getting ugly later.
The thing with Jamie is he doesn't know how to get out of his own way, and he routinely finds himself in situations that he's in too deep on, which occasionally can lead to murder. I mean, we've certainly seen that on Yellowstone already. We're not at the point of anyone getting murdered at the moment. Instead, we're just at the point of Jamie roughhousing with the bunkhouse people, which does kind of make me raise the question in my head of like, have I hung out with the wrong people over the course of my life? I grew up in the South, and I gotta tell you, I have never been in an experience where people are playing rope games with each other at 3 in the morning.
You can probably be thankful for that, I feel. I mean, that didn't look like a good time. Everybody's falling down drunk and smashing their backs and hitting their heads on the wall. I mean, that doesn't look like a good time, but what do I know?
The funny thing about this to me is I feel like there is a certain allure in fantasy about, oh, you know, wouldn't you want to be on the Dutton Ranch? Wouldn't you want to be a part of the band? I always watch this show and being like, I don't really want to do that. Like, that seems like, number one, a lot of manual labor. Number two, these people are keeping you up all hours of the night. They're drinking a lot. It doesn't seem like there's a lot of, like, PlayStations at the ready. I feel like it would not be the best experience for me, but for Jamie, it's really not the best experience for Jamie either. I mean, the dude's hanging out with all these people he doesn't really... They're not his usual cup of tea, to put it lightly.
And it's really interesting because originally, before his dad pushed him to go off and be a lawyer and all this other stuff, that was what he wanted. That was his life. He felt good and stable in that life, and he needed it. And then it was, oh no, you're going to go and you're going to do this. I applied for you to go to Harvard, so see you later. I don't care what you want. And then then, and I always wondered if that was the turning point for Jamie, where Jamie knew who he was before and he felt good about it. And then he went off into this life that he didn't really want to be part of and became kind of like this. Now we're in this situation again where Jamie had gone off the deep end so far that he was like, listen, this is, his dad's like, okay, you're going to do this. You're just going to come back here and you're going to deal with the horses and just get back into that steady routine. Jamie was like, okay, this makes sense for me. This will be good for me. And now it's back again. Oh, now you're going to be a livestock commissioner. This can't end badly. How could this end badly?
Jamie is a puppet. Like, that's really what it feels like. He's just somebody who someone else always pulls the strings of, whether it is his father, whether it is Beth, whether it is the people at the bunkhouse. And eventually, Jamie's gonna have his there are no strings on me moment, and I'm kind of worried as to what that's gonna look like. I don't think it's gonna happen over the next couple of episodes, but by the end of this season, maybe?
Jamie is really fascinating to me.
He's probably one of the best characters on this show. I mean, don't get me wrong, Casey has his moments. I did like the moment where John suggests to Casey this idea, and Casey is just like, nope, I'm not doing that. You can't make me.
Yeah, and I mean, John even really tried to manipulate the situation to quit it before he even asked him, and I love that Casey called him out. You set it up like this so I can't say no, but you know what? Nope.
I enjoyed all of that. Casey didn't have the most to do in this episode, I don't feel like, but at least we had like a moment that was fairly memorable with him. We've sort of set the stage for Jamie, and for Beth, let's just start here with the introduction of our guy Josh Holloway of Lost fame as Rourke. I remember I was watching an episode of Parks Unknown. I can't even say not Parks Unknown, but it's a different thing that doesn't exist. But there was this episode where Anthony Bourdain was actually in kind of this sort of region, and there was this big segment about these land rules where you can go upstream in the river and it's no one's property. And I was just, I was so happy. I was like, oh, this is actually something I know applying to Yellowstone, a world that I know nothing about, but he knows his stuff, clearly.
I was really excited to see him coming over to the show. Huge Lost fan here. Josh, I think he's going to bring a lot to the show. He is sort of playing that same sort of charming bad boy, trying to get away with stuff, but he plays it so well that I'm not even mad at it. The only thing, of course, is there is a little bit of sort of back and forth between these two, and I was really excited earlier in the episode to see Beth call Rip her boyfriend to that other woman in the store where she was like, yeah, I got myself another boyfriend. I'm like, yes, Rip is the boyfriend. We don't need you coming around here, Josh.
And the truth is, he ain't going anywhere anytime soon either, because I think it's pretty clear that he's connected to all of these, Richie Rich types who show up early on in the episode. And this is, the classic, okay, here we go again with the really rich people coming in to try to take over the land story. We probably have seen this on about 2 trillion shows and movies.
And we've seen it with this show every single season now. And I was kind of hoping that the show was going to go in a little bit of a different direction this season, that it wouldn't be exactly that same sort of the big bad city folk coming in to take your land, because we saw it already with the Dan character and that bled into season 2, and now in season 3 we've got this new guy coming in, and it is always a fight about the land. But to be fair, it seems like kind of what John was saying, that it is always a fight about the land because there is the next person and the next person, and it just doesn't stop for them.
To me, the only thing that feels a little bit different here is that they basically have just pumped this up to another level where it's not just about Dan or just about a couple of other people. It's about like this huge entity that can just crush you with money. I mean, you think about the Beck brothers. They would actually try to just like physically crush you because they were freaking psychos with the way that they acted. And yeah, it seems like this group, what makes them different is John is just a pebble compared to them and compared to what they do, and he's probably going to need to beat them when it comes to rules and regulations, and I don't know how Yellowstone makes rules and regulations cool or entertaining, but all the best to you.
But we have seen John pull some stunts in the past, where when he was dealing with Dan, he moved an entire riverbed. So, I mean, he's got some tricks up his sleeve. It's just going to depend on, where the story is going to go. Because this is a much bigger corporation coming in to take over the land.
I'm glad that sort of amidst all of the craziness in this episode, we didn't at least forget about, oh yeah, here's Tate, like the one person on this show who is still like reasonably pure. Everyone else has been like corrupted to like the upteenth degree. And that scene with him and John where they're sort of talking about dreams, like that's probably actually my favorite moment of this episode, because it's just sort of nice to see the paternal side to John, especially on Father's Day. It's okay, here's him being maybe a better paternal figure than he might have even been to his own kids when he was younger.
Yeah, I really liked the stuff that was going on with Tate in general. I liked that they didn't just kind of mow over what happened to him. He is having night terrors. He's still dealing with what happened. I mean, there's not that much of a time jump. We can still see some of the bruising going on with Beth, so not too much time has passed. And seeing what's going on, with Monica and trying to help him or figure out a way to help him. I actually really like the scene with Monica and John in the hallway talking about Tate and talking about everything that happened, talking about the sort of handing of, how this is changing hands of land and taking things away from each other and all that. But I really loved her asking for John to take him on this whole, we're going to go sort of camp out and watch over everything, and can you please take him? And it was cool. You see that big smile on his face. It's like, yeah, of course. Yes, I would love this. I've been waiting for this.
Yeah, I think he really likes being a father figure to Tate, and I think it does sort of balance out the show a little bit, where over time, one of my biggest criticisms of it is that it does get kind of over the top and get real, just like with the Beck brothers. I was like, who acts like this? Like, who does some of these things? But I'm sure it's grounded in some sort of crazy reality. These people are so far off the map that maybe there is a sense of lawlessness here and there. Who knows?
Of course, and it's TV, so they gotta make it more than just about the big bad city folk coming to take the land. Because, like I said, we've seen 3 seasons of this now. So throwing in the Beck brothers here and there, it seems a little unbelievable. Or Jamie murdering the reporter, but hey, we gotta have a little more drama in there or else it would get stale.
And I think we're going to have a lot of drama moving forward. A lot. And I'm excited to see where it goes. I did enjoy the premiere. There's no jaw-dropping moment. There's nothing that, really has me on the edge of my seat. But I think it's a solid introduction. I think if we're a couple episodes from now and it doesn't feel like anything huge has happened, then I'll kind of be like, okay, you're taking a little too long. But for one episode, I'm all right with it.
Yeah, I enjoyed the premiere because for me, I expect a premiere to either wrap up a cliffhanger in the last season, and there wasn't really a big one happening there. So I'm okay with them setting the table and giving us sort of the layout of, what's going to be happening, the change of positions with John and Jamie. Seeing that Jamie hasn't really changed that much yet. I mean, not a lot of time has passed, so we can't really expect that of him. And sort of just to see what the setup is with Josh Holloway's character coming up.
Well, let's turn this over to you guys, because, what did you think about the Yellowstone Season 3 premiere? Did it live up to the hype, to the really long wait between seasons? Let us know in the comments, and if you did like this video, remember to give us a like, subscribe, and you can support us further by checking that link in the description to the store, and we'll see you here next time.